Last video I talked all about mashed lettuce and how it grows and how it's perfect for cold climates, so great for this time of year, especially if you live in the north and you have snow. But this week I want to share a fun new recipe using this unusual green. If you have ever grown mash or you've ever seen it, maybe at the farmer's market, you might not have known what to do with it. So I'm going to share a new recipe for you. It's a winter harvest bowl, so it uses all sorts of other winter harvest vegetables, and it's one that you can make right now in the winter. Hey, Nadia here, and today I'm sharing with you a brand new recipe with mash. It's actually a winter harvest bowl, and it features this tiny little kind of lettuce or spinach-like green. It's really, really small, but it's a perfect winter green. I think it's the best winter green because it can handle pretty much any temperature. It lasts longer than any other vegetable in my garden by far. There's no question about it. So it is a perfect winter green. So I'm created a winter harvest bowl for you guys today. And a winter harvest bowl, if I could have very well just made that term up, but I've heard of autumn harvest bowls before, and that is essentially using ingredients that are readily available in the fall. So I figure a winter harvest bowl should be all of the ingredients that are readily available in winter, right? Seems logical to me. So winter harvest bowl it is. It features some fresh winter vegetables that you can use whether you grow your own or you buy from. If you can find four-season growers around you, this is going to be a great one for you to try. For this recipe, here's what you're going to need. Rice, or if you want to sub in any other grain you want, you can even use like buckwheat or something if you want to make this grain-free. Just really anything that is going to be the base of this bowl. We're going to add some chickpeas for protein. Mash, of course. Now, if you don't have mash and you want to still do this winter harvest bowl, you can sub in spinach. Spinach and mash have a really similar consistency. We want some carrots. I'm using two different colors of carrots here, but use whatever you have, of course. Some beets and some herbs. I'm using parsley and green onion, or the tops of onions. I talked about that in my last video. We want a clove of garlic. And then for the seasonings, we're going to be using olive oil, soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of pepper, and then just some black sesame seeds or some other seed type. You could even use a nut or another seed like pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, just something for a little bit of crunch. It just adds a little bit of nice texture to this dish. And as always, you can get this recipe and all the others that I share in my free recipe book. It's all about seasonal eating, and the link is down below. First thing that we're gonna do is prep all of our vegetables. I'm gonna start with the carrots. And then what you can do is you can either shred them like that, or you can, what I actually like to do better is I like to use my vegetable peeler that I just used to take off the skin. I actually also peel the carrot itself. So I literally just take shreds. And you just get these nice curls, which I think is really pretty. But you don't have to do that. You can just shred it if you want to. But I like the look of these a little bit better. And then we need to prep our mash. So they come in these little tiny florets like this. Sometimes you'll just have a few leaves, really big leaves. Sometimes you'll have lots like this, depends. But just take off the stem at the bottom. Really all we want are the leaves. So you can just rip them off with your hand. I find that's the easiest. And then you can just leave the mash as is, or if you want to, you can chop it as well. The leaves are pretty small to begin with, so you probably don't need to chop it, but I know some people prefer the texture, or even just they like really finely chopped greens. And then with the beets, you just want to peel it and chop it however you like, or you can just grate it like we did with the carrots. If you want to grate the carrots, you just grate the beets as well, that's fine. I'm just doing it in matchstick because I like the look of matchstick vegetables, but you can obviously do it any way that you'd like. All right, now it's time to make the rice or the grain base. So we want to infuse a little flavor in it, otherwise it'd be pretty boring. So in a small bowl or a big bowl, depending on how many you're making, I'm just making 1 serving right now just for simplicity of this video, but of course the recipe will be for a full 4 serving portion. I'm just making it for me right now, so I'm just doing a single size. But for the rice or for the grain, I'm going to start with a clove of garlic. And I'm using raw garlic in this recipe. So if you don't like raw garlic, then that's okay. You can absolutely just roast your garlic. In fact, you can roast all of these vegetables. All these vegetables are raw because I want that freshness in the winter, and these are delicious vegetables that are raw in the winter. But you can of course roast them or steam them or whatever you'd like. But the reason I'm using raw garlic is it is known to be an antibacterial and an antifungal. So super helpful for winter, right? When we always get sick. So I like to throw raw garlic in so many of my winter dishes, and I find that as long as you grate it with a microplane grater like I'm doing right now, it's not a super potent garlic taste. You know there's garlic in there. If you have little kids that are sensitive, like my one daughter, she's like, it's spicy. But if that's the case, then you can tone it down for them or just leave it out, or use the roasted garlic would be really nice too. But I want the potent benefits from raw garlic, so I'm using raw garlic in this recipe. And we'll add just our seasoning. So I'm using a little soy sauce, a little apple cider vinegar, some olive oil just to make it a little bit more rich, and a little ground pepper. You don't need salt because there is enough sodium in the soy sauce, but unless you really love salt, you can add some, but I'm just using some pepper. And just mix it all together. You want to make sure that the garlic is evenly distributed through the whole sauce so that you don't get big tastes of garlic. You just want a nice even distribution through the whole rice. And then once all that's mixed together, we want to throw in our rice or whatever grain you're deciding to use. So I'm using cooked rice that I had already cooked. I love to batch cook grains because it's so easy to add it into recipes like this. And then you don't have to worry about having sort of that same flavor all the time. You can change it up depending on what you're making. So today it is a winter harvest bowl, and tomorrow it might be an Indian dish. I can change it up as much as I want with cooked grain. Now I happen to have white rice here. I do like brown rice, but I happen to have white rice today. And then once you've added all of your grain, you just want to stir it all together so that it's evenly coated with the sauce we just made. All right, that looks good. Now I want to add in some herbs. Instead of chopping them, I'm just going to cut my herbs using scissors into my dish. It's so much easier to do it that way. So I'm just going to strip the leaves of my parsley and literally just take some scissors that are clean, use some that you only use in the kitchen, chop it in. So we'll do the same thing with the parsley and then the green onion. And then one more quick stir, get all of those herbs nice and mixed together. All right, now that we've got our grains all mixed together, let's put the whole thing together into our new winter harvest bowl. Then we'll take our vegetables, add in your carrots. So I'm just putting them around the side so you can kind of see what all the ingredients are, but of course, as you're eating it, you would mix it all together. Then I'll add in my mash, my beets, and then finally some chickpeas. And then I'll just top the whole thing off with some black sesame seeds. I find that it looks really nice. The presentation is really nice with black sesame seeds, and I like the flavor of black sesame seeds. So this is a really fun winter harvest bowl. I hope you try it, and if you do, let me know in the comments down below or tag me over on Instagram. I can see your creation. Or if you're on Pinterest, you can upload a photo there and let other people also know how your recipe went or how your dish went, and then they can kind of get a sense of how it can go for them as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.